I used to think libraries were the safest places you could be. Quiet, controlled, predictable. But one night while working a closing shift, I realized something was still inside with me long after everyone else had left. And the worst part, it knew my name. This happened about 2 years ago when I was working part-time at a small public library in my town. Nothing special about the place. It was old, built sometime in the late 70s, with dim lighting and that constant smell of dust and paper. I usually worked the evening shift, which meant I was responsible for closing up at 9 p.m. Most nights were uneventful. People trickled out around 8:30. I'd do a final sweep, lock the doors, and leave. That night started no different. It was a Thursday, rainy, the kind of steady rain that makes everything feel isolated. By 8:45, there were only 2 people left. An older man reading newspapers near the entrance, and a girl sitting at one of the back tables. She looked like a college student. Hoodie, headphones, laptop open. Nothing unusual. At around 8:55, I made my usual announcement. Library's closing in 5 minutes. The older man packed up and left without saying anything. But the girl didn't move. I walked over to her table. "Hey, we're closing." She didn't respond. I thought maybe she had her headphones too loud, so I got a little closer. "Excuse me?" Still nothing. That's when I noticed something strange. Her laptop screen was completely black, and she wasn't typing. She wasn't even moving. She was just sitting there. I felt this weird hesitation before reaching out and lightly tapping the table. She slowly lifted her head. Her face looked normal, but her eyes, they just seemed off, like she hadn't blinked in a long time. "Oh," she said quietly. "Sorry, I lost track of time." Her voice sounded flat, like she wasn't fully there. She packed up quickly and walked out without looking back. I remember watching her leave through the glass doors. Something about her just didn't sit right with me, but I brushed it off. People act weird sometimes, especially during final season. By 9:05, I had locked the front doors. Standard procedure. I turned off most of the lights, leaving only the hallway lights and a few reading lamps on while I finished up. That's when I heard it, a chair scraping from the back of the library. I froze. I was sure everyone had left. I stood there for a few seconds, listening. Then it happened again, a slow, dragging sound, like someone pulling a chair across the floor. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. "Hello?" I called out. No response. I started walking toward the back, my footsteps echoing way louder than usual. Every aisle felt darker than before. The rain outside was hitting the windows hard now, making this constant tapping noise. When I reached the study area, everything looked normal. All the chairs were pushed in, no one there. I actually let out a nervous laugh. "Okay, just the building settling," I told myself. But as I turned to leave, I spun around instantly. No one. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. "Hello?" I said again, louder this time. Then, I noticed something. One of the chairs at the table where that girl had been sitting was slightly pulled out. I was sure I had pushed it in earlier. And on the table, there was something sitting there. A notebook. I slowly walked over. I didn't remember her having a notebook. I opened it. The first page had writing, messy, pressed in hard, like whoever wrote it was in a hurry. It said, "Don't let it see you leave." I felt this cold wave run through my body. I immediately turned around, scanning the room. Still nothing. But now, it didn't feel empty anymore. It felt like someone was watching me, from somewhere I couldn't see. I backed away from the table, not taking my eyes off the dark corners of the room. That's when the lights flickered. Just once, but it was enough, because in that split second of darkness, I saw a figure, standing at the end of the aisle. The lights came back on. Nothing was there. I didn't wait. I turned and started walking fast toward the front, then faster. Then I was basically running, I didn't even care about protocol anymore. I just needed to get out. As I reached the front desk, I heard footsteps behind me, soft, quick, matching mine. I didn't turn around. I grabbed my keys, unlocked the front door, and rushed outside into the rain. I slammed the door shut behind me and locked it. I stood there, breathing hard, staring through the glass. The library looked empty, silent. I thought it was over, until I looked down at my hand. I was still holding the notebook. I don't remember picking it up. My stomach dropped. Slowly, I opened it again. The message on the first page was gone, replaced by something new, something that definitely wasn't there before. Written in the same messy handwriting. You looked back. I felt this sudden urge to check the door, and when I did, I saw my reflection in the glass. But just behind me, inside the library, there was someone standing at the door, watching me, smiling, and when I turned around, there was no one there.